Very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Mazra Hassan. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne remanded till the 5th of December. Vote on account of 1,735 billion approved by Cabinet for the first 4 months of 2019. UNP says government has no majority. Vote on account is illegal. Government prepares to boycott Parliament tomorrow. Modern day slavery in Galevela. Indian High Commission aware but mum.
On to our top story now. A group of South Indian workers who are employed in Sri Lanka lodged a complaint at the Galevela police today. They charged that they have not received remuneration or facilities for 3 months for the services they have provided.
This group of 30 workers have arrived in the country 6 months ago from the Jharkhand province in India. This group is currently residing in a house in Katupatha in Galevela. They have arrived in the country through an Indian contractor to construct high-tension power lines. This company has not provided the salary for these people and they are currently facing hardships as a result. This is the situation of the house that they reside in. They charge that the passports containing their visas have been taken by an agent of the company. It should be noted that it is illegal to hold on to someone else's passport. Serious questions arise as to whether there are people of a similar nature in the country. This is over to the Indian High Commission.
Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne was remanded until the 5th of December by Fort Magistrate Ranga Disanayake today.
Chief of Defence Staff Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratne surrendered at the Fort Magistrates Court today. CDS Vijay Gunaratne is accused of aiding and abetting former Lieutenant Commander Chandana Prasad Hettiarachchi of the Sri Lankan Navy involved in the abduction and forced disappearance of 11 youth to evade court. The Police Special Task Force and army units were deployed for added security at the Fort Magistrates Court premises. After facts were reported to court during the morning session, the hearing was adjourned for lunch. After the Chief of Defence Staff left the premises to return later, a group of people dressed in civil attire obstructed the duties of media personnel at the location. Following this incident, the person accused of assaulting journalists was taken into police custody. The Chief of Defence Staff, who arrived at court dressed in uniform for the hearing in the morning, was seen dressed in civil attire at the court premises for the hearing in the evening. The magistrate rejected the application for bail made by the defence, citing that if bail was granted to the suspect, it could pose an obstruction towards the investigation. The magistrate went on to note, though the suspect surrendered to court today despite the court issuing orders for his arrest on 2 separate occasions, based on the facts produced before court, investigations on abduction and forced disappearance could be hindered. Fort Magistrate Disanayake ordered the 4th Police OIC to immediately commence an investigation into an incident where the suspect and his security officer had threatened the lead witness in the case, Lieutenant Commander Galagamage Laksiri, with a pistol on the 25th of November.
The vote on account prepared by the Ministry of Finance seeking to facilitate government spending during the first 4 months of 2019 has been approved in Parliament.
It was proposed by the Prime Minister in his capacity as Finance Minister to present a vote on account for parliamentary approval. The vote on account will allocate 760 billion rupees to maintain public services for the first 4 months in 2019, another 970 billion rupees to facilitate the expenses that have already been powered through various rules. 5 billion rupees for advance accounts of the government. This would amount to 1,735 billion rupees for general expenses.
Now, the United National Party expressed their stance on the vote of account by the government.
Apparently, a vote on account was passed in Parliament. First, there can be no cabinet. How can a government that has no majority and has no confidence form a cabinet? How can a government that does not have the majority boycotts Parliament? This fake government pass a vote on account. That is why I ask them to stop supplying us with jokes and show their majority in Parliament. If they can't prove their majority, it is useless to speak of these fantasies.
Journalists questioned the co-cabinet spokespersons at the cabinet media briefing today.
We reject the fact that the appointment of the cabinet of ministers and the Prime Minister is illegal. The people who present these slogans are aware that they could have taken the Gazette before the Supreme Court and challenged it. No one took that step. The appropriations bill has to be presented before the Parliament within the year and it needs to be approved. That is the tradition. We do not know what the decision of the Supreme Court will be. Let's think. The Supreme Court grants a decision that the President has the power to dissolve Parliament. Then there will be no problem. From January, February and until the end of March. If the Supreme Court says no, the President does not have the power, then a vote on account has to be presented to cover the expenses. Then there must be a majority vote in Parliament. We do not see this as a problem. We are hoping to hold the parliamentary group meeting tomorrow morning. We will decide what can be done thereafter. The standing orders of the Parliament are clear that a matter that is before the judiciary and a matter where a decision is to be provided is not taken up. There is a case at the appeals court. If a no confidence is brought in, it will be on the same points. There is an argument that we cannot speak about this in Parliament. On the 6th of January 2005, there was a letter from Ranil Wickremesinghe with 2 specific points. One was to say to make him the Prime Minister once the President was appointed, and the other was to hand him all the power through a gazette. Is the President appointed to be the President? They wanted him to be a puppet. He works to the voice of 122. If there is a no confidence, they will protect him and he will protect them. This is not a problem about the majority. We say that this be done legally. If the standing orders are violated, how can we support it?
The following views were expressed by the UPFA representatives during several media briefings held today.
We informed Karu Jayasuriya through a letter that the Hansard report, even if published, should not be presented. However, he will most probably ignore us. We will decide with a majority in Parliament that the Hansard report published after the dissolution of Parliament will not be legally accepted. Following the court verdicts, we can claim a majority sufficient to approve the vote on account. We will not attend parliamentary sessions with members of the UNP, TNA and JVP as they do not follow parliamentary rules and regulations. After the court gives a verdict, we will take action against the Speaker for his politically biased, illegal actions and misappropriation of assets. If it is illegal, he should have received a verdict from another court. Why did Anurakumara Dissanayake come to Colombo on the 23rd of last month? He says governments cannot be toppled in the manner in which the Podujana Peramuna has. He said, we will topple the government. When he made such a statement, within 3 days, we toppled the government and appointed Mahinda Rajapaksa as the Prime Minister. He says the illegal government will be sent home. We ask him, if our government is sent home, who will be appointed as the Prime Minister of this country? Who does Sumantiran and Anurakumara want to appoint as the Prime Minister? It is only after the 7th we will proceed to establish a majority in Parliament. If elections are not held, we will then make a decision to form a government if possible. The Parliament was dissolved while we claimed the support of 113 ministers, and there were more to be sworn in. We have no need to attend the Sirikota meeting organised at the parliamentary complex. It will be resolved very soon in the best possible way. We have a way to resolve this, which is faster than taking legal action. We plan on implementing this in the near future. We have many alternatives. We need not divulge them.
UPFA MP Dilan Pereira declared open a fair at the Hali Ala Agrarian Services Centre today.
The project was constructed at a cost of 500,000 rupees under the Gamperaliya initiative. With the toppling of this government, we can create an even bigger revolution in this area. The decision in December will determine if Mahinda Rajapaksa will be made Prime Minister through a snap election or if he will continue as Prime Minister in the current government. Although my personal marriages are a bit messy when it comes to political marriages, I am a good matchmaker. Therefore, this marriage is not one that will break off soon. This will continue for the next 15 years. I must say that even if we lose the court case, even the Lord of the Universe cannot chase away Mahinda Rajapaksa from the position of Prime Minister.
Parliamentarians representing the United National Party convened a media briefing in Temple Trees today. It was revealed at the media briefing that a proposal to cut off the funding of the Prime Minister will be presented in Parliament tomorrow.
If they have a majority, they can file an objection and remove the Speaker from his seat. It is useless to make such statements before the media and the country. They are boycotting Parliament. They are acting like a guerrilla army or an army in the jungle. Don't engage in politics while in hiding. We ask them to face this battle out in the open in a democratic manner. You will be able to see our majority increase to about 125 to 130 from 122 tomorrow. So I would like to ask the officials of this fake government if your 102 members are pure. They have a few who are handpicked there. There is another group that was gathered from here and there. I would like to challenge them to show at least 85 who are pure among your 102 or 103 members. There was one thing that I saw that was unjust. They tried to create a story that I had told this to seniors of our party. But that is not what I said. I clearly told them that Sajid Premadasa will be brought at the next election. We have the democracy among us to express my personal beliefs to my supporters. The Prime Minister has no issue. My party has no issue. But I must apologize to the group who were unsettled by this. If you are reporting my story, please publish my entire speech of 45 minutes. But one thing to be happy about is that the credibility of the channel that published this story reduced due to this incident.
As suggested by parliamentarian Harin Fernando, the complete speech in question will be aired on our sister channel Sirasa TV tonight at 10:30 p.m. Still in local news, former Chief Minister of the Northern Province C.V. Vigneswaran has written a letter to President Maithripala Sirisena requesting for police protection. The former Chief Minister in his letter states that he informed the President on a previous occasion that the Chief Minister's life was under threat. He adds that he also informed the President at that instance that he has suspicions on DIG Nalaka de Silva, who is currently in remand custody. The letter states that the protection provided to the former Chief Minister's official residence was withdrawn at a previous occasion, but the personal security that was provided continued. The personal police security that was provided was also withdrawn today, and the officers were asked to arrive at the Jaffna police station and place signatures. Vigneswaran in his letter adds that the threat on his life was informed to the Inspector General of Police. The letter requests that approval be granted for the personal police security to be provided once again. The letter also adds that C.V. Vigneswaran had noted that the former Chief Minister of the Eastern Province is said to be receiving the police security even at present. The members of civil society and religious leaders expressed their views on the current state of the country at several media briefings today.
It does not seem that any of these parties are working to resolve this issue in a democratic manner. Because of this, the economic problem in the country has worsened. We do not believe that democracy in the country and the freedom of her people will be established after a gentle election. Therefore, we need a long-term solution. The constitution of this country should undergo a massive amendment which is based on democracy and freedom. This country needs a parliamentary system of governance. We are of the opinion that we must bring this to a point where no member of parliament should be given a ministerial portfolio. The other proposal is that the people should be given the power to choose the candidates for the elections. Ranil Wickremesinghe does not have a majority. Everyone with Ranil Wickremesinghe is against him. I think he can't even collect 113. Then, if someone proposes to have Sajith Premadasa as the Prime Minister, they will not allow him to gather 113. Therefore, understand that there is a clear crisis. When you look at it like that, at least Mahinda Rajapaksa has 101 or 102. Ranil Wickremesinghe has a number less than that. So we ask for the Bond Commission report to be released. And we ask the government not just to go in front of the media and start shouting that this person did this and this person did that. File B reports and arrest them. But if they are putting this forward because they cannot find 113, that is just foolish.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna also convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
The cabinet with no majority has decided to award the terminal contract to the China Harbour Company and the port's operation worth $25.7 million to another Shanghai company. On the other hand, they are requesting for another $500 million from the China Development Bank. Provisions have been allocated in the Appropriations Act only until the 31st of December. If a secretary of any ministry is to allocate funds after the 31st of December under these conditions, Lalit Veeratunga will be in courts. I challenge President Maithripala Sirisena to expose the Bond Commission report. He cannot reveal it as it includes names of individuals in the Presidential Secretariat. He is protecting the report like protecting eggs. The second Bond Commission must be appointed immediately to identify bribery and corruption that took place during the past 3.5 years. During Ranil Wickremesinghe's tenure, he tried to benefit as much as possible, and the current government is making plans in a similar manner.
දැන් මේ සෙල්ලම් ආණ්ඩුවක් දැන් මොනවද කරන්නේ ඉස්සරහට තියෙන දේ විකුණන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා දැම්ම ඉඳන් කට්ටියත් එක්ක සැලසුම් සකස් කරනවා
දැන් ඇත්තටම මේ රට වැටෙන අගාධයෙන් ගොඩ ගන්න නම් ආපහු අර කට්ටියට දෙනවද නැත්නම් මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ මේ ඇත්තටම මේ අපිට දෙන්න වෙන කියන කිසි දෙයක්
There is no other option. They are not even tradable for money. Ranil Wickremesinghe or Mahinda Rajapaksa should not be appointed as the Prime Minister.
Mahinda Rajapaksa මහත්තයත් අගමැති නෙමෙයි.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ අරලියගහ මන්ත්‍රී යන්නත් ඕනේ මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂට වැය සීට්ස් වියදම් කරන්නත් බෑ.
ඒ කියන්නේ සම්බන්ධ විපස්සනායකතුමත් ඒ කාර්යාලේ යන්න ඕනේ. ඕකේ වැය සීට්ස් ඉවරද?
ඔව් අනේ නෑ විපක්ෂයක් තියෙනනේ.
An opposition still exists and his leadership still continues.
දැන් මේ තියෙන්නේ. හරි. එහෙනම් බොහොම ස්තුතියි. අපි විපක්ෂය අපි විපක්ෂේ. අපිත් විපක්ෂේ ඉන්නේ.
ආණ්ඩුව අපිද?
පුළුවන් නම් අරගෙන කරන්න.
The 75th anniversary of the Signal Corps of Sri Lanka Army was commemorated today. The ceremony was held today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
An exhibition was held at the BMICH to mark the anniversary. A forum was held on cybersecurity and overcoming challenges in the domain moving forward.
Further, and need to develop our capabilities mainly in the defensive subdomain. Then it will be further strengthened the Sri Lankan Army's endeavor to become capacity-based, sustainable army. Therefore, I strongly believe that this initiative by the Sri Lanka Army Signals Corps to conduct a cyber security symposium perfectly match the vision of the Army today. In this symposium, we have considered the cyberspace as a perpetual battlefield or battlefront, the battlefront which I mentioned in the early part of my speech. Cyber threats could generate from anywhere and everywhere.
Need to adapt emerging technologies that will boost the security of information systems from being compromised by the hackers. We all know that passwords and usernames used by majority of data users today are very weak. This makes it easy for hackers to encroach and compromise sensitive data for business entities or security agencies or armed forces.
A memento was presented to the President by the commander of the Sri Lanka Army. Following the symposium, the ICT exhibition was also declared open by the President. The rocket constructed by Gihan Hettiarachchi, a student of the Gampaha Bandaranaike College, was also among the exhibits. The first rocket launcher and the missile manufactured in Sri Lanka was also on display.
UMP representatives of local government were called to the temple trees today. At the meeting, Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajith Premadasa, addressed the gathering.
These people are boasting that they salvaged a country that was deteriorating. We are ashamed to say the money allocated to construct 2,500 Udagamana projects in the country have been stopped and recalled back to the treasury. The group that robbed the power to govern are taking care of themselves. We will, through the victories that we have, give back the money that have been allocated to build houses. We will give back to the people. We will provide the samruddhi to the poor people. Karu Jayasuriya rejected the position of Prime Minister on 13 instances. Sajith Premadasa rejected the position of the Prime Minister on 10 occasions based on a political discipline. No one can go alone and play games. We have to go ahead with everyone of the United National Front if we are to win.
The Energy Storage Show commenced in Colombo today. The panel discussion at the show was held under the topic Energy Infrastructure, Storage Trends and What That Means to Sri Lanka.
The government has declared that Sri Lanka should lead to 100% renewable by 2050. That was the vision of the government.
There seems to be a disproportionate growth in thermal installed capacity between 2018 and 2037 according to the long-term generation plan. While there is some small growth in renewables, there's a disproportionately high growth in thermal capacity. And I'm trying to understand how this policy is going to help us achieve 100% renewable energy.
Now, you are correct. We are a bit confused. See, in the past, we were in a very slow renewable energy development phase. And thinking that renewable energy like solar and wind is not the solution for the power generation because of the so-called intermittent issue. So in the past, our expectation was when we have a solar power plant, we should have an equal quantity of diesel or coal or some waste plant. That's what, so therefore, we are talking about this immediate requirement for electricity. We should have some sort of solution. At the moment, we're not possible to have a solar and wind to meet 100% solution. And then we are moving towards LNG and the coal and a furnace oil or whatever other sources which is more strong. And so our policy is, this plan is being revised every 2 years. So depending on the world technological advancement, changes, after 40 years we are thinking achieve the 100% renewable target. So until such time only we are having this thermal and whatever plan.
Even though the target is still 100% renewable energy, in the next 20 years, the main focus is going to be thermal capacity installation, and the long-term generation plan is revised every 2 years. It's still doesn't give me a lot of consistency in policy, and definitely not what I think the renewable energy world is looking towards.
Damita Kumarasinghe, Director General at the Public Utilities Commission, also spoke at the event.
The government has come out with the policy for 2030 on the energy mix, and in that we are looking at, I emphasize, 50% from renewable energy. Mostly, if you consider the load pattern, the trends, and the prices, solar, wind, plus storage technology will play a major role in time to come. And that's what the government is interested in.
Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
As I always say, it is equally important to recognize and felicitate sportsmen and women taking part in all sports. It will act as a source of inspiration to those athletes to strive to do better.
කාවේ පැවැත්වෙන සෑම ක්‍රීඩාවක්ම අගය කිරීම ඉතාමත්ම වැදගත්. ඒ වගේම මේක ක්‍රීඩකයන්ව දිරිමත් කිරීමට ලොකු රුකුලක්.
It is also a great inspiration to aspiring athletes who want to compete in the national level. The support that this award gives to Sri Lankan sports is immense.
මම හිතන්නේ ඉතාමත්ම විශිෂ්ටයි. එය මේ ක්‍රීඩාවක් වෙනුවෙන් ලැබිය යුතු දෙයක්.
Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Azra Hassan. Take care and good night.